Welcome back to the Clay Kane Show on Sirius XM Urban View Channel 126. We're talking powers and becomes action. Very excited for our next guest. He is a poet. He is an actor. You know him as Ghost from Power. Mr. Omari Hardwick. What's
Thanks
up,
for having
sir?
me, Clay.
Thank you
team.
for being here,
Thank
brother.
you, team, for having me, man.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate
man,
you.
oh man, the final season of Power. The last episode airs February 9th, right?
Yeah, is that right?
That's
Not the 7th, the 9th?
Yeah, the
Okay.
9th. Yeah, that's the end of the road.
That's the end of the road.
So I've
as
heard,
we know it.
Right. So I've heard so many people say when a show ends, they either feel heartbroken, they're excited to move on. How are you feeling?
It was a bit of both. Because, and I've heard this from an agent recently. It was one of my agents said, and this was pre-season 6. He said this. So for him to say that pre-season 6, and then the effort I put in season 6 would just add to this point he made, and that was the hardest job. As an agent for 30-some years. He's the agent of Dwayne Johnson. He's got myself. He's got Octavia Spencer. He said it's a known fact from their point of view that the hardest job is the lead actor of a television drama that goes long. Obviously, if it's a television drama that goes 2 years or whatnot, it's not the same thing. But if you are the lead actor of a television drama in today's market of television drama, which means it's a mini movie, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, Hill Street Blues, what have you, even Law and Order, they weren't like movies. But we're now making movies every single week, 11 days on each episode, if not, sometimes shorter, depending on what show you're on. I think we were like 12 to 14 days per episode. So the amount of time that I put in would make it where my answer to your question would be that I am relieved because I'm so exhausted from having played, the better parts of 16 hours on average, always above 14 hours, sometimes 18 hours, sometimes not the legal turnaround, which they have to pay you for. The SAG legal turnaround is 12 hours of rest before you come back to work. I was often back within 10 hours, consistently. So you're not necessarily having to be back in that way, of course, unless you're the lead of a show. And so no way that my answer can't be that of relief from the exhaustion that I carried. But equally, as much as I'm team-oriented, it's not an easy locker room to leave when you're so into team. My nature is team. So it was a very hard locker room to leave. I made such great relationships, relationships that'll be, that'll last for the rest of my life. So it was kind of a mix of both for me.
I want to go to the beginning. So before Power, you were on a hit show called Being Mary Jane.
Yes.
You're playing Andre. You were loved on that show. Most people wouldn't have taken that risk to leave a hit show, right, and go to another show because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
No matter the stars who are in it, no matter who's directing it, no matter who's writing it.
Yeah.
Did you have any anxiety or concerns leaving a hit to really take a risk?
No, I was trying to leave before I did it.
Why?
Well, because I was friends with, I guess to shout out them as a family. Salim Akil auditioned me for a Showtime's television version of the show that of course Mekhi Phifer ended up doing, and Soul Food is what I'm talking about. And I was auditioning for a role of an autistic character. After Salim saw me play Lyle Kessler, who's the playwright of this play called Orphans. Played Orphans on stage, Stellar Adler Theater, and I was come from stage, as you know, Stellar Adler Theater on Hollywood Boulevard, and I remember Salim telling Robbie Reed, shout outs to Robbie, obviously, who used to, the first casting director for Spike Lee, the first prominent casting director for him. And Robbie came to watch me, and she said, "That's not Omari." And I guess my name was going around town as this theater guy, really gifted. And Salim said, "That's him." And I drowned myself, and I was playing an autistic guy. I drowned myself in size because I still was close to the football weight then. I live at 185, 180 now. I was 200 pounds then. So fresh off the football field, fresh out of New York theater. And I remember going to the audition for Soul Food, and I was late for the audition. And I'll never forget Salim saying, "You have the gift of some of the great actors I've ever seen." He mentioned Jeffrey Wright. He mentioned the thing that Will Smith has. He mentioned, obviously, Denzel. He mentioned some people. And he said, "But you won't get this role. It was unprofessional as to how late you were. You didn't slate. I came in and rocked the audition, but I didn't even slate. Omari Hardwick, 5'10", up for the role of whatever. Didn't do it. Just was in a space." I remember it was some shit between me and my girlfriend in a space. And I never forget him telling me, and it taught me a lot. He said, "If you can get your shit together, it's out of here for you. You're out of here." It's a rare gift, and you're trained and rarity of gift. You're out of here, and you have the focus of an athlete. If you could put it all together, I remember that. So for me, when he and his wife then put me in Sparkle, rest in peace, Whitney Houston.
Yes, yes.
The character I played as Levi was complicated enough where that did make sense, coming from, in terms of them giving me the job, coming from a guy who had said what he said at the audition, which is, you have all of these things. When the world really sees it, wow. So when he's saying that, getting Levi in Sparkle, playing opposite of Carmen Ejogo, a beast, formerly married to Jeffrey Wright, a beast, playing opposite Michael Epps, super gifted, playing opposite Derek Luke, playing opposite Jordan Sparks, her first movie, playing opposite Tika Sumpter.
Yeah.
Like that, like, to go from that, then we went to Whitney's funeral, and Mara and Salim brought up being Mary Jane. This is how it went. When they brought it up, I was still excited to find in the guy the convoluted complexities that most characters that come my way, even if via God, find on my lap. It wasn't that character to me. He was a boy toy of sorts. The real complicated, cool character was obviously the lead character, the title character for that show of Mary Jane, played by Gabby. She did an excellent job with it. I was friends with Gabby. Salim and Mara said, we need your talent at this show. But the character wasn't flushed out that much. So I went into that show kind of like, it doesn't fit all the things that are in me. All the things, Salim, that you saw when I was late to that audition 7 years back. It doesn't fit that really. So I did what I could with Andre. But when I answered the way that I've answered, you would conclude Omari came in hesitant enough to know I can't be here forever. I'm handcuffed. I'm too complex. I'm too big for that. Andre we never saw him even have a job. So whatever we did see in that guy was a lot of Omari and Gabby squeezing, and Salim doing a great job of directing and squeezing, and Mara writing enough to meet me in the middle, and me going, Omari, you gotta give me something. Yeah. I need something more. And I was always the artist in our generation. I was always the actor that was in the room with people going, he's so artsy that as a director and a producer, you kind of want to meet him in the middle. Yeah. You know, the leading man thing I had, but I'm so artist, and I'm almost character actor more, but the leading man thing was competing. So Brad Pitt kind of felt like me. I loved his work most as a character actor, but then he's Meet Joe Black. Yeah. So I felt like I was in that struggle. And so being Mary Jane was definitely a move that God wanted from me, because as Home put it, and Jay said this to me, she said, babe, you got to embrace your sexuality. You will never have the career that you want until you embrace it. Being Mary Jane was the staircase to me embracing that. Absolutely. And I needed to embrace it. So it was a priceless job for me, and I'm so glad that I did it. But I wasn't afraid to go to something more complicated at all. And even when I had a hesitance about, or I was hesitant about playing Power, once I met with Courtney and talked to 50 on the phone for 2 hours, then I knew, okay, this feels like home. Power was home for me.
Let me ask you this. So in 2012, you were in Tyler Perry's For Colored Girls.
Yes.
You played a character who was struggling with a sexual orientation. You said this in Shadow and Act. You said, it was a challenging role for me because I'm a black guy, and white guys like Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal can play those types of roles, and their audience will say the roles are artistic. That was in 2012. Do you think that's changed in 2019 for black male actors?
First of all, it's a dope interview. And I always say that when people ask me shit I ain't been asked. I always do. So this is already a dope interview. So you should hear that.
Thank you.
Roses Before People Die for me. So it's a super dope question. Secondly, I do. But I also think that the all-white high school that I went to, coming from an all-black neighborhood in Decatur, going to Northwest Atlanta to an all-white high school, I think that has changed for black kids that are now going to that high school. And in part because Omari went to the high school when it wasn't great in terms of for black people at an all-white high school. So, you know, the amalgamation that we find Ghost in terms of being a guy that's highly educated but comes from the school of hard knocks, really, really high IQ, but also very street, is Omari's reality. I come from an all-black Decatur, and I went to an all-white high school and became the most famous person at the high school. Imagine that. That doesn't make sense. None of that corroborates that which would be thought for the people that come to that school and are touted at the end of everybody's yearbook superlative section, most likely to succeed. Omari's not in that. So in that regard, I've always come knowing that the grandfathers on my back, the black men on my back, were that of shifters, shape shifters, You think about Dwayne Johnson's great turn as the character in Moana, the animation Moana. Great movie, right? He was a shapeshifter, right? His character was a shapeshifter. So I kind of always had, Clay, these grandfathers, man, that were shapeshifters. They were shapeshifters. They were really unique. Mom's pops and pops pop. And so I guess with them being on my back as a young person, not even realizing that that was in my spirit, I kind of go to things knowing, well, it undoubtedly will be better for the generation after me, after I've done it. Because you got a kind of a cool kid doing it. You don't have the kid. That's what Tyler knew. Tyler was brilliant with that. He's like, oh, you're different. For you to play a gay character, first of all, you don't have an issue with gay people. Secondly, you actually are not gay. So for you to be brave enough to do that in our culture, that does make commentary on that kind of thing. And people still do. People go, I can't watch that. I know he was good, but I can't watch it. And those people look like us. But absolutely, that commentary made by that particular type of person or whatever is definitely decreased over the years. If a younger black male is playing that role in 2020, which is why I'm, making a statement where everybody's hearing me say, you ask a great question. For sure, they don't go through the same fear of doing it, and they wouldn't go through the same reaction once they've decided to, in a brave way, if they deem it to be brave, to do it. They wouldn't go through the same thing, for sure.
Yeah.
But it didn't become an issue for me to do it. So would I have cared if it did? No, I'm a BO. I'm always BO. I got to die me. But I did it knowing our people need to see us doing certain things.
Oh, yeah.
There's black men that are gay.
Oh, yeah.
There's black men that are secretly gay.
Yeah.
The story has to be told. Why would it not be told?
Now you got Moonlight, you got Pose. Yeah.
So maybe I didn't even think about that. Maybe Omari playing that character. I mean, how many black men have played a gay character? It's probably countable on two hands.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is.
When it's a reality of who we are as people. We are everything. Why can't we do everything as actors? So
I got to ask you, are you working on a project on Gil Scott-Heron?
yeah, so I had the rights to Gil Scott-Heron since season 2 of Power. It would have been season 2. I remember telling Frank Fleming, shout outs to him, he's the designer for our show, who dresses myself and Tasha, or Notorious Tasha, Leela, Joseph, and every other character. So Frank Fleming, I remember when I told him that, he said, oh my God, there's your Oscar. And no, there was no reality of him actually feeling that way. What he was feeling was, all that you are is going to be a very difficult task to find a character as complicated and as cool as Ghost. So Omari, the way that your thirst is quenched in terms of being this guy that likes, art more than not liking art, you really go for art. Gil Scott-Heron, with you being a poet, with he being as complicated as he was, the character that Gil was as a person. His son told me once, shout outs to me and his son having this conversation once, and his son said this to me. He said, Omari, my father said he was a natural actor. And he said, but you know what? He always thought the acting thing was fake. He thought people were like, it's fake. He didn't like it. And I thought, and that's again why I would have thought that Gil would have been a phenomenal actor. Because Gil had a concept that acting is fake. But the actors that are pretty good to great are the opposite of being fake. We just actually act. We don't act. We go opposite of acting. So when I think about that, I thought about the fact that this guy is somebody that is one of my tops. I mean, I love Sonia Sanchez. I love Nikki Giovanni. Love Langston Hughes and what he meant. Sonia and Nikki are actual friends of mine, which is amazing. Never met Maya Angelou. Love Rumi. Love Pablo. It's all of these great. Love Tupac, a great poet to me. Stevie Wonder, one of the top poets. George Harrison from the Beatles, an incredible poet. Oh, yeah. But I definitely always felt like Gil Scott-Heron, that's my thing. He sees life in this way of like, a poet doesn't, they see life. We're born a poet. So what he sees and how he sees it and how he articulates it with comedy is just, woo.
Well, when are we going to see it?
We're seeing it. But Power was so, Ghost was so big. Yeah. I could moonlight with other characters over the 6.5 years, but Gil Scott requires for you to go, I watched Omari go in this place, lose the weight, and really dig in it for a long time. And what came out is this incredible role. But I can't play with that. I got to really.
That makes sense.
What Jamie did with Ray Charles, I got to. What Denzel did with Malcolm, I got to.
Right, you got to go all the way there. So I got to ask you this. A lot of fans were upset. How did you feel about French Montana leaking a spoiler from Power.
Oh, I didn't know he did.
Yeah, fans were
that.
outraged.
I missed it.
They were outraged because him and 50 were going at it. So I just wanted to know how you felt about.
I had no idea. I missed it. He leaked the episode, my episode.
No, he leaked a spoiler,
but from 10.
Yeah,
mid-season finale.
And fans were losing their minds on Mr. French Montana.
I wouldn't specify it on. I wouldn't keep it. But just to answer your question, we got two. Okay. Just to answer your question, I think it's just hard for us to be as mad at leakage in a era where everything's leaked. I mean, we could be mad about that being leaked, and that's perhaps complementary to what the power of Power, pun unintended or intended. It had us so much that we don't want leaking, but equally people leak things on the Saturday when they watched it for the Sunday viewer, when the Sunday viewer was trying to not see what happened. By the time they got to Sunday night, the Saturday people who watch it at midnight were already leaking things. And we're in a social media era. I don't know how we avoid, whether it's French Montana or whether it's John Doe down the street, I don't know how we avoid people leaking stuff. It's just people want to be in the know before you as a journalist. Like, I said it. I did it.
Right.
I don't know if that was French's intention, because I didn't even know about that again, but I definitely think it's hard to keep privacy and privacy now, man. And it's sexy. Mystery is sexy. So we've lost that part of sexiness. Yeah. Everybody wants to know everything. I can't stand that. Yeah. It kills me.
Last question before you go. Considering Power, what is the most powerful thing about Omari Hardwick?
My love for people. I would say confidence. My confidence is right there next to it, but my love for people. And it never necessarily denotes having time to spend with that many people, but my natural love for people, which we're animals, and we forget to say that. We're as animalistic as a bear. We might be worse than a bear or a lion because they really kill for food. We kill just for sometimes pleasure. My love for people makes it where there's this weird optimism that I carry, which doesn't necessarily match that side of me that is definitely competitive and has a cutthroat mentality. There's definitely the killer in me by instinct. But I think that the love of people, which would, I guess, lend itself to being a very humble person, I guess that would definitely be the most powerful part of me.
Well, thank you for this interview, man.
Sure, man. Thanks. It was a great interview,
I appreciate it
so much.
You
did a very good job, brother.
You got to check out, Power, Stars, Sundays. It's epic. I don't got to say anything more. Omari Hardwick, thank you once again, brother. Clay Kane Show, head into a break. Be right back.
My man.